Yes, my people, I'm back again. For those of you that do ask me questions that what is really happening, that we are not seeing any evidence, we are not seeing anything that Peter Obi really won the election, that we bloggers are just claiming that Peter Obi won the election, that we are not seeing anything, we are not seeing any video, we are not seeing anything. And people, I just want you to stay connected to the end of this show so that you go hear waiting this analysis. You go hear this analysis completely so that you go understand what is happening, all the evidence that you guys are claiming that Peter Obi did not win the election, how Peter Obi analyzed everything in the court, how he did everything in the court. You can go just hear and with your own ears everything. May not stay connected to the end of this show. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, the like button, and click the bell beside it. Don't forget, always plan to drop your comment in the comment section. Stay connected to the end of this show so now you go watch this analysis. See you soon. We'll be back.
Welcome to LAJUPOG TV show.
The whole of crime scene
is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV show. If you are new to this show, don't forget to click the subscribe button, the like button, the bell beside it, and also plan to drop your comment in the comment section so that YouTube will notify you immediately we drop any other video into the channel. Yes my people, before I continue, before I play this video for you, because I want to say something, is that someone once asked me this question, that do I really think that Peter Obi won the presidential election? That do I really think that Peter Obi can beat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in court? The question really baffles me, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one of the most the most strongest politician in Nigeria. He believes that he's the next. He believes that Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that there's nobody in this country that he can't control. Do you understand? That the person that asks me that, what is my own intake on this notion, that did I really believe that Peter Obi will win Bola Ahmed in the court? And I told the person that I'm 100% sure that Peter Obi won this February 2023 election, the presidential election. He won the election, and he's going to prove it to the world that he won the election. Stay connected to the end of the show so that nago see the analysis of how Peter Obi won the election and the evidence in court. See you soon.
If you're one of those genuinely thinking that Labour Party didn't bring evidence that they won the election to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, then you must have missed it. In many episodes of the hearing that we covered, the Labour Party brought massive evidence to court. Let's take them one by one. Labour Party tendered certified true copies of Forms EC8As from INEC. These are hard copies that INEC claimed they fell back on. They had to do manual collation since they didn't do upload at the polling unit. Although INEC didn't supply all the copies requested by the Labour Party despite being under subpoena, but at least they tendered the ones they got from INEC. So that's number one. The second batch of documents are the IREV copies certified by INEC. All the uploads on IREV, including the more than 18,000 polling unit results that are blurred and unreadable. No matter the reason that INEC is giving that prevented them from using IREV copies to do collation, IREV is still recognized by the electoral law. So that is why Labour Party submitted IREV copies. IREV copies should be the same as hard copies. When you pick one polling unit result in a particular area and search for it on the IREV, the result should be exactly the same thing, because that result was snapped at the polling unit and uploaded. The third evidence that they submitted to prove that they won the election is the Beavers report. What is the importance of the Beavers report? Beavers report will show overvoting. Beavers machines are used to accredit the voters before they are able to vote. So if the number of voters in a particular polling unit are more than the number of accredited voters, it is simply overvoting. What does the law say in case of overvoting? What should happen? It says that in places where overvoting occurred, that results there must be cancelled. So expect the tribunal to cancel many results in places where they detect overvoting. Like we already analyzed in some videos where we showed overvoting in states like Rivers, Kogi, Plateau, and many others, the APC benefited more than other parties in the places we analyzed. So when those votes are cancelled, they will suffer heavily. They will lose many votes, which might lead to their not making 25% in those states. Yes, when the votes are recalculated after the cancellations, their scores might not be up to the required 25% in many of these states. The fourth evidence that they submitted to prove that they won the election is the statement by one of their witnesses, the professor of mathematics, who made all the calculations and tabulated all their figures and arrived at the fact that Peter Obi won the election. His statement and analysis and tabulation of the results were tendered to the court. They have the information. It is not the fault of the Labour Party that the defendants did not bring any witness to counter what they tendered. Because normally if someone is making an accusation, made an accusation against you, and you people end up in court, you are supposed to come to court and say, hey, I didn't do what this guy is accusing me of. I'm innocent. You just lay down everything, tell your story, and be proved right. But in this case, INEC didn't do anything. They just called one witness against Labour Party. Tinubu's council called only one witness. APC didn't call any witness. So it is not the fault of the Labour Party that the figures are not known as at now. Granted that the figures that INEC announced has been taken as the official position, but it doesn't negate the fact that the election was rigged, that the process leading to the announcement was in gross violation of the electoral law and their own guidelines. They feel because of that they don't need to defend anything, that they don't even need to submit documents that are required from them, that the burden of proof lies with the petitioner, despite the petitioner serving them subpoena from the same tribunal to tender the documents so that they can prove their case. So it's a mix of many things, impunity and taking advantage of the law. Now, having seen all the evidence that they submitted to prove that Labour Party actually won the presidential election, many might still be thinking, why didn't Labour Party submit their political party copies of the presidential election results? That if they truly have them and it was from there that they calculated the results, why didn't they submit it? Like you already know, the political party copies are the third on the ladder when you're talking about presenting evidence about the election. So that was why they relied on INEC CTCs, although not complete, but the tribunal judges will get a picture of where they are coming from. Now the question arises, where will this evidence lead to? Will the judges just close their eyes and agree with Labour Party based on the statement of the professor that they won the election, without the Labour Party tendering their party agent copies to back up the calculation made by the professor? Will they just allow the results and say, yes, you are the winner, go? It's not straightforward, but let's look at the Beavers report. If the judges are able to verify the Beavers report from INEC themselves, that means overvoting will be proved. They will now cancel the elections in places where there was overvoting. After cancellation, what next? Because when you cancel elections in many places, it will affect the number of votes of the candidates. So definitely many people will lose votes. Like already said, APC will lose more votes than others. So this will affect their total number of votes. What will happen in this case? Definitely the judges will order a recollation of the results. They will invite INEC to come to court and recollate the results. If that is the decision, which results will INEC rely on to recollate the results to find out the actual winner of the presidential election? Before we find out which results they will use, let's see the impact of the more than 18,000 blood results on IREV. The impact is very huge. Let's assume that 100 persons will vote in one polling unit, and there are more than 18,000 polling units. That's approaching 2 million votes alone. Not that all of them will vote for one candidate, but it's a huge figure. It is very significant, which might be higher than the margin between the first and second after the recollation of the figures. And in that situation, it means the election will be declared inconclusive, which ultimately means that elections will be held in these polling units to determine a winner. They might even include places where elections were cancelled so as to determine a winner. So in terms of determining who won the presidential election at the Presidential Election Tribunal, it seems that the judges will arrive at 3 conclusions, or maybe 4. But before we go through all of them, let's see which presidential election results that INEC will use to recalculate the votes in case a recollation is ordered by the court. All parties have closed their case, so there's no more room to admit or tender evidence. So that stage has passed. The court will rely on all the evidence before them, the IRF copies and the hard copies tendered by the Labour Party. And since they are the same thing, they will just use the IRF copies to do the collation. In places where they are not available, they will default to the hard copies. So INEC will recollect the results to determine a winner. If they are not able to arrive at a winner, that means there will be a runoff election. Now let's look at the 4 conclusions the honorable justices at the appeal court may arrive at after looking at the evidence. 1 is outright cancellation. Just like we analyzed in the other video, that going by the evidence before the court, Labour Party and PDP have proved serious non-compliance with the law. And going by the law, the non-compliance substantially affected the outcome of the election. That's number 1. Number 2, order a recollation of the results. The judges might arrive at this after cancelling all the places where there were overvoting. It's a serious possibility. That's number 2. Number 3, declare P2B winner of the presidential election. Number 4, conclude that the petitioners couldn't prove their case. Yes, that's the worst case scenario. All the documents are not complete, all the CTCs are not complete, but they know why they chose to go this way. The expertise of the lawyers in P2B's legal team are not in question. They have a lot of experience. So these are the likely outcomes that the judges will arrive at when determining who won the presidential election. This is still different from all the other pleas like disqualification, all the other pleas in their petition. Now we hope that this will put to rest the insinuation or people questioning why they didn't prove or tender evidence that they won the election. Keep asking your questions, we'll try to answer them in subsequent videos.
Yes, my people, thanks for watching this video to the very end. But before I go, I have to say some things about the video we just watched. You know, a lot of people have been asking me that, I said it previously, that people have been asking me that they really believe that Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the election or Peter Obi won the election. I just want, you can vividly see in this analysis that you can see all the evidence that Peter Obi brought to court. Even the evidence that INEC tried to pin down, that they should do not see, the video record, the recordings, the everything, Peter Obi brought it to the court to defend himself. And everything, all the evidence, the weakness, the everything that Peter Obi and Labour Party is bringing to the court, none of APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu lawyers were able to defend it. They couldn't defend it. All what they are just trying to do is just to confuse, just to wrap their head around, and just scatter and say that they are done with the case for the day. They'll shift it to another day. They will come again. They will bring evidence. They will bring more weakness. They will, APC and INEC lawyers will come again. We confuse. We scatter. They will end it again. They will postpone it again. All what we are not expecting now is just that with all this evidence, with all these weaknesses, with all these recordings, with all this video, with all this video proof and everything, all what we are waiting for is the judgment from the chief judge. That's all what we are waiting for now. All the citizen of Nigeria, or every citizen of Nigeria, their eyes are vividly on the judge. We are telling the judge that all eyes on you. What is your plan? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Will you disgrace yourself? Will you help Nigerians? Will you save Nigerians from what we are into, or we just want to continue to kill us? Yes, I believe that we Nigerians, we know the truth. We obedient, we know the truth that it was Peter Obi that won the election. But where we want to follow the rightful procedure, we want to follow the constitution, we want to follow the rules and regulations. Because if we don't follow the rules and regulations, it is not proper for us to start shouting that Peter Obi won the election. Let the court decide. All eyes on the judiciary, all eyes on the chief judge. What do you want to do? Give us response. Let us know. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, click the like button, drop your comment in the comment section. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. See you in my next video.
Thank you for staying connected at LAJUPOG TV show. Leave the message for you, bless you and impact you. So all we do on this channel is to bring to you prophetic words from men of God in America and outside America, from the person of Judy Green and Christmas, from the Disney of Bullock and Clement and all of that. So we'll deal you with undiluted words from them and also their prophetic words. And guess what? Many of these prophecies are really coming through. So just ensure you subscribe to this channel just to get more of the prophecy in pure time. Guess what? See you next.